My name is Cutes OG. I felt like, sharing some true history about my childhood and the childhood of others, but mainly, how my gang started, which was the Magnificent Seven. And it basically consists of my brother Big Mouse, OG Rusty Machine Gun, my little brother Lucky. A great number of my brothers were A-Tray gangsters, which is the choice that they made. I wasn't an A-Tray gangster. I was always a Magnificent Seven West Side Crip. And the other members were Gary Lane and Barney Five, which was Mad Dog Erskine's first cousin. We had Hoover Clarence, Hoover Emerson. Hoover Clarence was the leader of the Leaders, a gang that had started in the 70s, and he became a Magnificent Seven when I joined the Leaders up with the Magnificent Seven. Some came and some went back to being an Inglewood family, and that's how that went. The reason the Magnificent Seven started, it was funny because Mouse and Took had got in a little fight early before, things got to the point to where there's going to be a set called the Crips. And so we were kind of mad at Stanley. So we knew that he was a Al Capone. So we started our own little gang with our family. We knew my uncle was coming home, Big Al, from the joint. So Al didn't like that Stanley had fought Mouse, so we were like planning on, having a big fight with the Al Capones, and so we were trying to get armed. So I heard this gunshot in the alley, so me and Rusty walked over there, and this dude, he come out there and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And this guy ended up turning out to be Gary Lane, and so I told Gary Lane that I heard a gunshot, and he said, "Oh, you did?" So 2 or 3 days later, Gary, he showed me the shotgun. And I said, "Let me have it." And he said, "I'm not giving it to you, I'll sell it to you. And what do you want it for?" I said, "Well, I'm building a gang up and we need at least one gun in the gang." And he says, "Well, what's the name of y'all's gang?" I said, "We ain't gave it a name yet." He said, "What do you mean you ain't gave it a name yet?" He said, "Well, who y'all's enemy's gonna be?" I'm going to Catholic school at the time, St. Eugene's. And so I'm like still upset about Stanley fighting my brother, and so Gary wants to know, the name of my gang and who's our rival. So I tell him Stanley, and I tell him he's Al Capone, and then Gary starts laughing. He says, "You little motherfuckers better go home," And so I look at Gary and I said, "See, he's one of them Al Capone dudes too. I knew it." And then Rusty said, "Well," I said, "you shouldn't have told me to even talk to that dude about anything, man." So there 2 went by. We run into Gary again. He tell us to come over by his yard. So we ain't scared. I'm with my brother. We'll fight anybody. So I go over there. I'm ready to fight Gary Lane. I know he gonna whip my ass at this time. So I just ready to fight him. So I said, "Well, fight the big dude, you go help." So Rusty said, "Okay." I said, "I'm gonna steal on him and then you just be on him." And then, so Rusty right there with me. So Gary says, "I'm going to show y'all something." So he go in and get this sawed-off 12 gauge. And I'm like amazed by it. So I said, "Let me hold it." So Gary gives it to me. He says, "You know how to open it?" I says, "Not really." He says, "This is how you crank it." Boom, he opens it up. A shell spits out and hit me in the chest. I go, "Oh, fuck." Like that. And then, to make a long story short, Gary gives me the gun for a few bucks. And now my gang got a gun, but my gang doesn't have a name. So Mouse gives us a name, and he says, "Okay, we're going to be called the Magnificent Seven." I said, "But it ain't 7 of us yet." And he says, "But it will be." So we start recruiting people. So we got Barney Five, who was Erskine Jones's first cousin. Then we've got Gary Lane. That was what was crazy. Gary Lane, he said, "I want to be a Magnificent Seven." So he came over. Then we got Chucky Madison, which was my first cousin. Todd Madison. We got Little Lucky, who was too little to bang, but he wanted to be one. So he went snitch on us to my mom about stuff that was going on. I told him he was one too.
Yeah.
So just to keep him quiet, I satisfied him. But and then we got Clarence Emerson, Clarence Emerson and Clarence Hoover. And we got T-Bone, we Raymond Potts and them. They were all Dinker Crips.
Yeah.
And T-Bone, he was basically a Dinker Crip too. So we would fight them, just fist fights with them. And so they said, hey, Cutes, why don't you come on over here and represent us? I said, well, who is Shotgun QT? I'm tired of seeing his name written on all of these walls around here. I'm the one with a shotgun. How is he getting this name? I don't even know who this motherfucker is. And they said, yes, you do. It's you. And I said, well, who gave me that name? And then they said, Raymond Potts. He just named you. So that's your name. I said, oh, that's a cool-ass name. I said, I like that name. So they said, okay, we want you to, be the leader of the Dinker Crips. And don't confuse our Dinker Crips with the 30 Dinker Crips. It's not the same Dinker Crips. We were on Dinker. They live on Dinker further down in the 30s. We down here in the 60s. So Tookie tells me after all of this fighting with him and Mouse, we all became friends again. And so Took tells me, he says, hey man, a lot of the homies is going to jail and you going to harsh man now. So I want you, to keep the Crips going down there. And Raymond Washington and Bulldog had already came up to Washington. They already reached out to Big Took and all the other generals up there, Pookie, all of them. And Mike Orwine, his big brother, they reached out to them, talked to, Big Odie, all of the block that was there, because that was the name of the gangs over there. Everybody talk about the block, but they forget about the N-Hood, which was Blue. I always thought Pookie started the N-Hood because he could round them all up quicker than anybody else, but I'm not going to get in a debate about that. But I used to be at the record hops, and I know who would bring on the heat, and it would be Pookie in the N-Hood, and Melvin would bring the block half over there, and I know Monkey Man would bring his part in the 107s. They would come from Ray Ray and them, and Little Penguin and them. They would step off in there. But what I'm saying is that we stepped up into Washington in 1970, the Magnificent Seven. We get off the Western bus, I think it was the 95. We bail out on 108th, I believe it is, and we mob up to the school, and it's summertime. So all of the G's is on the side of the school where the bus comes, because that's where all the honeys be at. And so we got this boom box and we jamming. And so Donald Archie say, what set y'all from? And then I said, we Magnificent Seven, basically. That's where we from. And we here to see Big Took. And I call him Stanley, by the way, that day. And I said, I'm here to see Stanley, because Stanley's trying to make it for some credits. So he's up in the classroom. His girlfriend Bonnie's up there with him. So I said, I'm going to go find Stanley, man. I don't got to talk to you. So because I know the leader. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. I'm a little kid. So I bank up in the school. I sneak up in there, get up on the class. I go to this class. I say, is Stanley in here? And then Stanley's in the class. And then everybody turns around and start laughing because this little kid at the door asks for Tookie, and that's what he's going by. But Bonnie knows his name is Stanley. So she started laughing, and she says, come here, like that. So I have a big old fro then, so I'm a cute little kid. And so I bail up in there, so all the girls is playing with me and shit. I'm trying to be serious and shit because this dude didn't talk shit to us outside. So I want Stanley to come outside and tell him who we are. I want him to know who we are, So Stanley's like, look, Cutes, he said, I'm in class, like that. He says, I'll talk to you later. Now get out of here. So I'm mad at him now again. Now I'm mad at him. So I bank back outside. So when I get back outside, they got Mouse's radio. So they holding on to the radio and shit. So I said, oh shit. So I push one of the little homies away that was over there at the time, and I said, hey man, get away from my brother, like that. And then now they too deep now. So we start walking back toward the Normandy bus stop, and I said, man, that's fucked up. We gotta go get Big Al, like that. So Al finally comes home from the joint, and time had expired, and we went and got Big Al. The first person we go to get is Donald Archie. So we bail up into Donald Archie's house. He lives upstairs in the back. So we go up to the stairs. I got a golf club. So I knock on the door with the golf club. Pop, pop, pop. So Donald opens the door. Now he sees it's the seven in front of him. And then he's like, "What's up?" And then my uncle, big buff uncle from the farmers, when we called the brothers that come up out of Compton farmers because they had cows, chickens, and whatnot. And they didn't like being called farmers, but that's what he was. And so the farmer, Big Al, said, "I want my nephew's box." And like that, he said, "Well, I don't got his box." I said, "You got his box. You a motherfucking lie." Like that. And then Donald's mama comes to the door, and she gets in it because she don't want to see a bunch of stuff go down in her, living room. So she says, "You better go in there and get that radio and give it back to these kids right now." So we steal kids, basically, I guess. So Donald goes and get the box, and he gives it to my uncle. And so from that day on, Donald was like, "Okay, we get recruited. We get jumped in the set." And so my initiation was this. Tookie took his glove, and he went pow, pow, across my cheek, and that was it for me. But Miles, they put dogs on him. Bing, 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 bing. And Miles was trying to fight back, but there was too many homies on him. So Took held me back, because I want to get dogs put on me too. I want to get in that shit. So Took says, "You ain't going over there. Stay your little ass right here." And so Mouse gets through getting his dogs. They beat Rusty up a little, but not bad. Because back then they didn't have no Baby G's to do it, because we were like the leader of the Baby G's and shit. And so we all Crips. Now we all getting along. So let's flip forward a little bit. We inside of St. Andrews Park. Now, Donald Archie, I ain't going to say he's not an athlete, but he will foul the shit out of you. So I heard this loud ass pow. And me and Wayne, we sitting over here with the honeys on the grass. And I said, "Donald's about to get in a fight." I said, "I'm going to go over there. Stay right here." So I go over there to have Donald's back, because I don't know none of the guys on the basketball court but Donald. So I get over there, and this dude, Donald, fouled real hard. He's about 6'5", 6'4". Donald's about 6'3", 6'4", but he's stocky. Back then, Donald was buff. And so I said, "All right, I see what's going on." So dude goes to his bike, and he looks. Then he comes back. Donald ain't paying this dude no attention that he just fouled. And the dude, I said to myself, something's in that backpack. So I open that thing up, bang, and it was a gun.
Okay, go ahead.
So this guy's gonna smoke Donald. And and that's the kind of instincts you gotta have when you're in the neighborhood. You gotta look out for your homeboys. And that's the kind of foot soldier I was. And I'm like, okay. So I go over to this bike where the guy have his gat in there. And he's got it in a little pack of his 10-speed. So I go over there and get it. And I pull it out. So I got it now. And then I tell Donald. I said, "Hey, Donald." I said, and Donald don't want to come over there because he's in the middle of the game. So Donald fouls the dude again. Pow, real hard. Now dude makes a mad dash toward his bike. But his gun ain't there. I got it. So he's rifling through the thing to try to find it. And now Donald's looking. And I said, "Hey, Donald, that dude was about to smoke you, man. I got the gun already." And so Donald grabs the gun from me, shoots it 3 times in the air, tell dude to bust up out of the park. So dude jumps on his bike and he busts us up out of the park. And then Donald told me, he said, "Thanks, Coots, man." He said, "Do you want this gun?" I said, "No, I don't want it." I said, "I don't need it." And so Donald takes it and he keeps it. And that's how our neighborhood was. Mm-hmm. It was either someone trying to shoot us or we trying to shoot them. And you only know what you know. And that's what we knew. That's what we learned. That's what we involved into. We involved into a group of people who had violence, who had used violence, And in the long run, what violence got me is a life sentence.